Today, we're going to dive into some of the most powerful and honestly kind of counterintuitive ideas about money, all from the work of author Morgan Housel. We're going to find out how a simple janitor can actually end up wealthier than a high-powered executive, and why the real secret to getting rich has way more to do with how you behave than how smart you are. So, let's just jump right in with a question for you. When I say the greatest investor of all time, who's the first person that pops into your head? I'm willing to bet a lot of you just thought of Warren Buffett. And yeah, that makes total sense. But what if I told you there's another guy out there, a mathematician named Jim Simons, who, if you just look at the raw numbers, has returns that absolutely crush Buffett's? Okay, let's look at the actual numbers here. Simon's fund has averaged an insane 66% return every year. Buffett, he's averaged around 21%. I mean, that's not just a little better, it is more than 3 times better. So case closed, right? Simon's has to be the greatest. Well, hold on a second, because when you look at their actual net worth, the whole story just flips on its head. Even with those way lower returns, Buffett is so much wealthier. So what gives? How on earth does the guy with 1/3 the performance end up with way more money? This paradox, right here, is the key to everything. The answer reveals the first and maybe the most important lesson in the whole psychology of money: the simple but totally unbeatable power of time. See, here's the thing. The secret sauce isn't earning the absolute highest returns. I mean, that's exciting, but it usually involves taking risks that can totally wipe you out. The real key is earning pretty good returns that you can stick with and keep earning for a really, really long time. It's all about endurance, not intensity. Buffett's own life is the perfect example of this. He started investing when he was just a kid and has been doing it for over 80 years now. And yeah, he was rich at 50, for sure. But the truly mind-blowing exponential growth, that didn't happen until much, much later. That's compounding. It's this quiet force that works in the background for decades, and then boom, it just explodes. Get this, 97% of Warren Buffett's net worth was earned after his 65th birthday. Let that sink in for a second. Almost all of his incredible wealth came after the age most people retire. Think about it. If he had done the normal thing and retired at 60 to go play golf, he'd still been a rich guy, sure. But you and I, we would have never, ever heard his name. His real superpower wasn't just being a genius stock picker, it was time. It was just staying in the game longer than anyone else. Okay, so if time and compounding are the how, that brings us to a much deeper question: what's the why? I mean, what is all that money really for in the first place? And nothing makes this clearer than comparing these two true stories. On one side, you have Ronald Reed, a janitor who just quietly saved and invested his way to a $6 million fortune. And on the other, you have a tech executive who made a ton of money and lost it all. At one point, he was literally throwing gold coins into the ocean just for fun. It's the ultimate difference between seeing money as a tool for your future versus a toy for today. And this leads to a really powerful idea that kind of flips everything we think we know about wealth on its head. We tend to think wealth is the fancy stuff we see people buy, but Housel says no. True wealth is the money you don't spend. It's the savings in the bank, the stocks you haven't sold, because that unspent money is what buys you something way more valuable than a new car. What does it buy you? Freedom. It buys you the ability to wake up in the morning and say, you know what? I can do whatever I want today. That control, that autonomy over your own time, that's the greatest dividend money can ever pay. It's a kind of happiness that no luxury good can ever come close to matching. So if freedom is the real prize, what's stopping us from getting it? Well, a lot of the time, it's this really simple but incredibly powerful psychological trap that Housel calls the man in the car paradox. Okay, Housel points out this funny thing our brains do. When you see someone drive by in a Ferrari, you rarely think to yourself, wow, the guy driving that car must be so cool. Nope. Instead, what you think is, wow, if I had that car, people would think I'm cool. We just use their stuff as a stand-in for our own desires. So the great irony here is that we spend money on flashy things to get other people to admire us. But they don't admire us. They just use our stuff as a benchmark for what they want. What we're all really chasing is respect from our peers, and things like kindness and humility will earn you way more of that than a fancy watch ever will. So if the secret isn't about getting the highest returns, and it's not about buying the flashiest stuff, then what is the ultimate financial skill we need to learn? It's simple: learning to play your own game. And this all starts with realizing that finance isn't a hard science like physics. It's a soft skill. And risk isn't some number on a spreadsheet. It's personal. Risk is just the chance that something will stop you from reaching your goals. And since my goals are different from your goals, what's risky for me might be perfectly safe for you and vice versa. Which is exactly why trying to copy your financial heroes, like Buffett, is almost always a mistake. We admire his billions, but are we willing to pay the price he paid? I mean, the absolute singular devotion to his job, the personal sacrifices he made. For most of us, the honest answer is probably no. So, this is how you start to play your own game. You gotta really define what you want. Understand your own time horizon. Are you investing for 5 years or 50? Respect that risk is personal to you. And above all, build a strategy that favors longevity over short-term intensity. Create a plan you could actually stick with for the long haul. So we'll leave you with this final thought to really chew on. What is one thing you could do with your money right now that would give you just a little bit more control over your own time? Because as we've seen, true wealth isn't about having more stuff. It's about having more options. The real goal isn't just to be rich, it's to be independent.